Welcome back. So as I said, there's still a few things I'm not satisfied with our new upload function right here. The first thing that is really a concern in my mind is actually that even though I don't subscribe right now to my upload, it actually goes and create the metadata inside my database. Now that's not the intended functionality, that's actually a bug in my mind, because my goal was pretty much to say I want to subscribe before I actually start uploading anything. So again, I like observables. I've chosen to use observables this way, and I do not want you to start uploading anything until I do a subscribe method. So if I do this, it shouldn't do anything at all. But right now it actually is. So let me try and show you. If I call this without the subscribe, I actually last lesson saw and noticed that it actually do go and call this function, which is perfectly fine, but that means that it actually right here executes this promise right here without the subscribe, and that is not the intended functionality. Let me try and show you right here. I just removed the subscribe right here, so now it shouldn't do anything at all. Shouldn't do anything, it shouldn't execute anything. Again, that's kind of, in my mind, the difference, one of the differences between promises and observables. Observables executes right away. As soon as you call the function, they execute, like we do right here. But an observable should not execute anything until I call .subscribe, right? It shouldn't do anything at all until I make that call. But notice right here, if I don't have the subscribe on my upload right now, it will actually go and still upload the metadata. So let's just try and look at Firebase again. You'll see right here, Firestore has 2 documents right now, and I'll choose a file right here, and as soon as I choose that file, you'll see that the upload is called, of course, and then it actually generates the metadata. So that's a problem because there is no file created, because the file is actually not being generated until I do subscribe. So I have a bug. Let's try and fix it. Now, it's actually because of the way that the from function works. So let's try and jump into our service right here. This is something that's something you need to know, that if you use the from function, you will end up maybe executing this right away without the subscribe. So that's a problem. That's not what I wanted. I don't want to use the from conversion if it executes the promise right away. I want to wait until subscribe, but luckily they built another one instead of from called defer. Now defer is actually going to do the same as the from, but defer is not going to execute until we actually call the subscribe. That's the difference between the from and the defer. Another thing is we need to make just a unique observable factory right here. So just a void right here and call it like this compared to the from, where you don't have to put this in. So that's the only difference, and now what's actually going to happen is I'm not going to call this function until I actually subscribe, and that's a huge difference, especially in this case you see right here where I end up creating some metadata that shouldn't even be there by mistake, right? Let's try and save this and try and run our code once again. The only difference again is that I added this line right here, changed it from to defer, and I added this because it needs this observable factory call right here to kind of execute and start working with this defer setup. Sweet. Let's try and jump back to our code and just choose the file again. Now notice again, I am going to hit the debug again. I am going to call the upload file, but if I continue right now, you'll notice no new file document popped up right here, because now I'm using the promise the right way, or the observable the right way. I need to subscribe now to actually execute the code. Try and jump back here, and let's try and jump into our list right here. There we go, and then do the subscribe now, just to show you that it actually works now. So I'll save this, I'll go back, and now when I upload a new file, you'll notice that now when I skip the breakpoint, let's do that, and I'll go into my database right here. You'll see a new file has popped up again. Let's just reload the storage as well. A new file has popped up right here as well. So notice that with this change, there's a huge difference, and that is pretty much that I will never upload anything until I subscribe. So again, it's a way for me to kind of guarantee that you need to call subscribe to execute any of the code inside this upload function. So that's, again, I think the defer is worth mentioning. So you have the from that just converts into an observable, but it executes the promise right away. Then you have the defer that kind of says, okay, I won't create the promise until, or execute the promise until you actually call the subscribe. Very important stuff. So that's from versus defer. See you next time, where we're going to extend this even further. Have fun.